Matilda said, "There's a boy down the road who got some superglue on his finger without knowing it, and then he put his finger to his nose." Mr. Wormwood jumped. "What happened to him?" he spluttered. "The finger got stuck inside of his nose," Matilda said, "and he had to go around like that for a week. People kept saying to him, 'Stop picking your nose,' and he couldn't do anything about it. He looked like an awful fool." "Serve him right," Mrs. Wormwood said. "Shouldn't have put his finger up there in the first place. It's a nasty habit. If all children had superglue put on their fingers, they'd soon stop doing it." Matilda said, "Grown-ups do it too, Mummy. I saw you doing it yesterday in the kitchen." "That's quite enough from you," Mrs. Wormwood said, turning pink. Mr. Wormwood had to keep his hat on all through supper in front of the television. He looked ridiculous and stayed very silent. When he went up to bed, he tried again to get the thing off. So did his wife, but it would not budge. "How am I going to have my shower?" he demanded. "You'll just have to do without it, won't you?" his wife told him. And later on, as she watched her skinny little husband skulking around in the bedroom with his purple-striped pyjamas, with a pork pie hat on his head, she thought to herself how stupid he looked. Hardly the kind of man a wife dreams about, she told herself. Sorry, just page turning. Mr. Wormwood discovered that the worst thing about having a permanent hat on his head was having to sleep in it. It was impossible to lie comfortably on the pillow. "Now do stop fussing around," his wife said to him, after he'd been tossing and turning for about an hour. "I expect it'll be loose by the morning, and then it'll slip off easily." But it wasn't loose by the morning, and it would not slip off. So Mrs. Wormwood took a pair of scissors, and she cut the thing off of his head, bit by bit. First the top, and then the brim. Where the inner band had stuck to all of the hair around the sides and the back, she had to chop the hair right off to the skin, so he finished up with a bold white ring around his head, like some sort of monk. And in the front, where the band had stuck directly to the bare skin, there remained a whole lot of small patches of brown leathery stuff that no amount of washing would get off. At breakfast, Matilda said to him, "You must try to get those bits off your forehead, Daddy. It looks like you've got little brown insects crawling about all over you. People will think you've got lice." "Be quiet," the father snapped. "Just keep your nasty mouth shut, will you?" All in all, it was a most satisfactory exercise, but it was surely too much to hope that it had taught her father a permanent lesson. Your question for today is, how did Matilda's daddy get his hat off of his head?